Geographically speaking, the world is an extremely diverse place. While it's impossible to objectively measure an abstract concept like climate diversity, there are a number of ways to look at the issue and form data-driven conclusions. Today, we will attempt to answer, what country has the most diverse climate in the world? Before we get into the list, I'd like to briefly touch on the list's methodology. I looked at every UN-recognized country and divided its total size in kilometers by the number of Köppen classification zones that exist in the country. A Köppen classification zone is a regional classification based on vegetation, temperature, precipitation, and other climate-related factors. In short, I'm identifying the 5 countries that have packed the highest number of climate zones into the smallest total area, measured by square kilometers per zone. It is important to note that we are not looking at which country has the most total climate zones within its borders, which would be the US and China. The last point I must make is that I have required the total number of zones to be greater than 4, which provides us with a truly diverse list instead of a list dominated by tiny volcanic islands. Coming in at number 5 is a South Asian nation, Bhutan. More than 80% of Bhutan's 750,000 people live in its largest climate zone, a subtropical highland oceanic climate which is comparable to southern Appalachians in the United States. The country's capital, Thimphu, also exists in this zone. Bhutan's diversity is primarily due to its stark elevation differences. Its highest point, Gangkhar Puensum, is the highest unclimbed peak in the world at almost 25,000 feet, while its lowest point is only 300 feet above sea level. This massive elevation distinction provides Bhutan with 5 distinct climate zones in just over 38,000 square kilometers, making it the 5th densest country in the world by our methodology. Boasting one more climate zone than Bhutan in an even smaller area is Taiwan, or the Republic of China. Taiwan is an island nation with plains and gentle hills in the west, where 90% of the population lives, and rugged forest-covered mountains in the eastern 2/3. This varied elevation has allowed Taiwan to build a diverse economy, with the humid plains allowing for productive rice cultivation and the mountains providing some of the largest sources of marble in the world, as well as copper, gold, and other minerals. Taiwan's variation is deeper than simply the flat west and the mountainous east. It also varies sharply from north to south. Northern Taiwan has a humid subtropical climate like Virginia, with substantial seasonal variation of temperatures, while southern Taiwan has a tropical monsoon climate like Miami, where the temperature is warm to hot year-round. The last notable difference between north and south is the effect of the East Asian monsoon on each half. This wind pattern from November to March delivers the south with 90% of its annual precipitation, while only providing 60% of the north's. Coming in at number 3 is Armenia, our 3rd straight Asian country, albeit over 7,000 kilometers apart from Taiwan. Armenia boasts 5 distinct climate zones and is our smallest country yet by area. Armenia's high elevation throughout the country is extremely influential in its climate. In fact, it is the 10th highest average elevation in the world, more than Switzerland or Nepal. The country's myriad of mountain ranges create both rain shadows as well as pockets of heavy rainfall. Parts of Armenia receive over 60 inches of rain a year, more than Portland or Orlando, while large parts of the southern half of the country are classified as arid steppes. The capital, Yerevan, located in these steppes, actually only receives 11.6 inches of rainfall a year, making it drier than Los Angeles. Most of Armenia's large-scale agricultural production exists in the Aras River Valley, an arid steppe that makes up one of its borders with Turkey. Armenia's water sector was in a state of disrepair after the fall of the Soviet Union. However, in the 90s, the government decided to partner with the private sector to introduce significant reforms in water management. One metric that showcases this improvement is the increase in the water supply to Yerevan residents. During Soviet times, residents had access to water only 4 hours a day, while they now enjoy over 23 hours of access. To summarize, Armenia's high climate diversity is due to the substantial fluctuation in rainfall throughout the tiny country. Our second-place country, Haiti, breaks the trend of Asian countries and instead takes us to the Caribbean. Haiti has managed to squeeze 6 distinct climate zones into an area the size of Massachusetts. Haiti is a tropical country, but like the 3 nations we have already reviewed, there is climate variation depending on altitude. As an island nation, Haiti of course boasts a large coastline, but its highest point is taller than anything the United States can offer east of the Rockies at 8,773 feet. The central coast around the city of Gonaïves is hot and arid, and it's comparable to the Sahel region of Africa, while the southern Tiburon Peninsula more closely resembles the climate of the Amazon rainforest. In between these two extremes is the capital region of Port-au-Prince, which lies in the savanna zone comparable to Naples, Florida. Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and the substantial fluctuation in rainfall, along with the history of deforestation to expand sugar production, have exacerbated the effects of seasonal flooding and hurricane damage. To this day, the relationship between deforestation and flooding remain one of the most critical issues in Haiti's future. Taking the top spot as the nation that offers the most diverse climate within its area is Albania. Albania exists on the coast of an extremely diverse region, the Balkans, which saw a number of countries take spots in the top 15. Like its predecessors, Albania's variation is due to the presence of two 7,000-plus foot mountain ranges, the North Albanian Alps in the north of the country and the Korab Mountains in the east. The two maps below highlight the close relationship between climate and elevation in Albania. These mountains feature a subarctic climate, such as Anchorage, Alaska, while the coastal plains west of Tirana give way to a hot summer Mediterranean climate, like one would find in central Morocco. This curious mix of environments, from Africa to Alaska, all exists within Albania, a country smaller than the state of Maryland. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what you saw, please feel free to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment on what you'd like to see in the next video. Thank you.